Historic compact, the Cherokee Nation now has more authority in its ability to improve its roads. The tribe hosted the U.S. Deputy Secretary of Transportation this afternoon. 2 News Oklahoma reporter Brady Halbleib joining us now live in the studio with more on this agreement.
Well, Karen, this is the first transportation agreement between a tribe and the federal government. Chief Chuck Hoskin Jr. says it'll help speed up funding for future projects, but also increase access to smaller communities within the Cherokee Nation.
Thanks to the Cherokee Nation's leadership, every tribe in the country now has a model that it can pursue in its own self-governance agreements.
Deputy Secretary of Transportation Polly Trottenberg attended today's signing agreement for the first ever tribal transportation self-governance program.
And now with the signing of this agreement, we reaffirm once more the Cherokee Nation's sovereign right to self-determination and our government-to-government partnership.
Today's agreement allows the tribe to oversee its own road construction, planning, and transit projects. Before, they needed authorization from the federal government in order to do any kind of major road projects.
It, of course, drives the economy to have secure transportation systems.
Cherokee Nation Chief Chuck Hoskin Jr. says the agreement allows the tribe to start planning for future projects thanks to quicker funding. But more importantly, he says it allowed the tribe to provide better road access to rural towns, many of those towns having strong ties to Cherokee culture.
For the Cherokee people, this is about saving communities. We don't just want to save these communities, we want these communities to thrive.
After the signing, Chief Hoskin Jr. and Cherokee officials showed off their latest EV charging stations and all-electric buses. They also toured their newest $11.5 million bridge rehab project near 6 Mile Road in Fort Gibson. Deputy Secretary Polly Trottenberg says the Cherokee Nation is at the forefront of this kind of new agreement.
With rural areas, we have a lot of new dollars to bring to the table, but we want to make sure we're really working closely on the ground to meet the needs of all these local communities. So this is, for us, we hope, a template for a lot of agreements to come.
And Chief Chuck Hoskin Jr. also says they plan to put a major emphasis on clean energy. The EV charging ports are just the beginning of a green initiative for the Cherokee Nation. Live in the studio, Brady Halbleib, 2 News, Oklahoma.